Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jacob Fry. I'm the mayor of Minneapolis, and we are presently embarking on the transition from our homeless encampment on Hiawatha to the Navigation Center, which you're presently standing in. This has been a long process, but the transition is presently going smoothly as we brought 10 individuals from the encampment to the Navigation Center shelter next door 2 days ago. Yesterday there was another 14, and we anticipate there being beyond 40 by the end of today. So the transition is going smoothly, and from the very beginning, we wanted the focus to have a shift. You know, people who are experiencing homelessness are not invisible, and we wanted to make sure that they were treated with compassion and a recognition of the dignity of every single human being. And most importantly, throughout this process, it has been Native-led. I want to give a huge thank you to all of the tribes that have been heavily invested, especially a big thank you to Red Lake Nation and Sam Strong. Right from the get-go, they said, hey, we have property. We want to make sure that we are treating every single person with compassion, and we as the Native community can help to lead this process and build the necessary coalition and collective vision to make this transition. I think we are hopefully setting a precedent right now where people who are experiencing homelessness are not seen as criminals. They are not seen as invisible. They are embraced by our entire community because indeed they are our friends, they are our neighbors, they are our family. Again, none of this would be possible without this broad coalition, a coalition that included the Native American tribes. It included MUD, the Council of American Indian Nonprofits here in Minneapolis. It included Simpson Housing. Thank you so much, Mike Gozi. And our partners on the city council. Councilmember Abdi Warsami has been a proponent of having this navigation center in his ward from the very beginning. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate that partnership. It is this collaboration, it is this collective vision that ultimately gets us to where we are today. Now, we're not out of the woods yet, but we are setting, hopefully, a precedent that can be replicated elsewhere. Thank you so much, and I next want to invite up to the microphone my good friend, colleague, and a huge supporter of getting this navigation center done in his ward, Councilmember Abdi Warsami.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to Ward 6. Welcome to the Navigation Center. As you may be aware, Ward 6 actually housed the encampment for the last couple of months. It has been a huge pressure on our residents in Ventura Village. However, there has been a great outpouring of support for the encampment from the communities in Ward 6, notably the Native American community, the East African community, and the larger, broader community. And this has been a very difficult task for us. We don't do this usually. The city of Minneapolis does not take this type of step. And I would like to thank the mayor for his leadership and for his vision. And I would like to thank the council for putting the resources into this project in a very timely manner, making sure that we house our vulnerable population in a time of need. I mean, as we know, it's very cold out there, but yet right here is room temperature. And we're bringing all the resources to make sure that these folks are housed and that they have an opportunity in the future. So I would like to thank everyone for the hard work, but I want to mention the contribution that the Native American community has played. This piece of land was donated by the Red Lake Nation, and if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I would like to thank them, and I want to call up the leader of the Red Lake Nation and one of the leaders of this project, Mr. Sam Strong, to come up and say a few words. So thank you.
Bonjour, Bimose Gnu Indigenous Cost, Makwan Dudem, Miskwagamariza. My name is Sam Strong. I'm Secretary of the Red Lake Nation, and I'm proud to be here today to speak on behalf of not only Red Lake, but other tribal nations that have become supportive of this project over the past couple months. I think it's really wonderful that we get a chance to really start addressing homelessness for Native people, not only for Natives, but for all races. It's been too long that the Native people have been forgotten. For decades, my relatives have been on the streets, ignored, under bridges, and really in harsh conditions, living a really hard life. And many people recognize that this is the result of decades and centuries of trauma, historical trauma, and trauma perpetrated by the federal government. And I think today is about healing. And that's what you see here today is the Native organizations coming together with the city, coming together with other tribal organizations, and starting that healing process of helping our people live a better life. And it's really important that we talk about that partnership, because that's what this is all about. It's about the city respecting our ways, our traditional ways, as well as our needs, and recognizing the wrongs of the past and trying to right those injustices. And so it's really important that we continue to build that trust, and I'm glad that we have everyone standing here today in support of us, and not only in support of us, but building long-term relationships, building that trust to really start making a dent in the homelessness issue here in Minneapolis. And not only can we start to make aware of these Native housing issues, but let's take a look at homelessness in general. Let's find some best practices to get people off the streets. And that's something we've been trying to do here. We're actually working with case managers to get people into long-term housing. And as of today, we've moved 62 people into long-term housing, all of them still in that housing. And so that's what this is all about. That's what this navigation center is about, is not just housing them temporarily. It's about helping uplift them, giving them the chemical dependency treatment that they need, the mental health that they need, but also bringing our communities together, having our traditional drums and having our elders come and help our people, uplift them out of the troubles that they're faced with that brought them to be homeless in the first place. So again, I want to express how important this partnership is. And there's a lot of people that aren't here that are also part of this team, that are part of building that trust. I know the governor-elect is also in support. We also have a lieutenant governor that's Native. And I was talking to one of the reporters yesterday. He said, what's different about this? It's that trust amongst all levels of government, amongst all of our people. And it's also about an awakening. You see that. People are starting to recognize Native issues. You saw that in Standing Rock, and you see that across the country, that people are finally starting to recognize the plight of the Native people. And so on behalf of the tribes, on behalf of Red Lake and the other tribal organizations, I want to say miigwech for finally taking some time to look at these issues, for finally taking some time to really start to make a difference in these people's lives. So again, I want to say miigwech, and I'm going to introduce the next person to come up, Mike Gozy. He's a representative of the Minnesota Urban Indian Directors, and so without further ado, Mike Gozy.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here representing the Metropolitan Urban Indian Directors. MUD is the way we describe ourselves. We've been involved since day one in the encampment in several ways. Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center put together people on the street. We started collecting donations, started making donations available. AICDC, the organization that I lead, has started serving sandwiches in August. We built the HSA, the hygiene service area, started the day after Labor Day, and we've been housing that or providing showers, providing access to service providers for the housing, for health care, for treatment services, and we've been doing that on an ongoing basis. It's been a collective of organizations that has really made a difference and has really brought us to where we're at today. And I was through the building that's open, and it's amazing, and it's going to provide a safe, warm place for people to start. And we have to look at this as a start. It's not the end. We still have to work on permanent supportive housing. We still have to work on low barrier housing so that we can meet the people where they're at and provide them with the housing that they are entitled to. AICDC is working on this for a long time. Anishinaabe Wakayagan, Anishinaabe Begiwin, both serve this population. And so there is a lot of expertise around us. There's a lot of people that have been part of the success that we're seeing today. There is still a lot of work to do on the ground, moving people from the encampment to these buildings and to permanent supportive housing, but together we will get there, and it's going to be an amazing trip, and it will make a difference in the lives and livelihoods of the people that we serve. Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Steve from Simpson Housing next, and who is doing the service coordination of the Navigation Center. Dave.
Thank you very much. Thank you, first of all, to all the media being here today. One of the key things about this whole scenario that we've been working through for the past several months in Minneapolis is really this heightened level of awareness around the ongoing crisis that we've got around housing and homelessness in the Twin Cities. So we certainly appreciate the opportunity to raise this up and bring more attention to this critical issue in our community. Simpson Housing Services has been doing the work of shelter and supportive housing in based in South Minneapolis for 36 years. And for us to have an opportunity to be here in this truly inspiring, collaborative community effort with the Red Lake Nation, with the other tribal organizations, with the city of Minneapolis, it is nothing short of amazing to see the rate at which these things are coming together and the resources that we're able to bring to the table to address this matter of homelessness on a case-by-case basis with the community of folks that we're able to get into safer environment from the encampment. What we do at Simpson is around this particular work is that we try and get people into safer spaces with as much dignity as possible, and to move people along to permanent housing placement outcomes as quickly as possible. And so we are certainly grateful for the opportunity to work with a new part of our community, to work in a Native-led effort, which is a tremendous experience already for us, even this early in the game. And with that point, I believe Sam Strong forgot to mention one thing when he was at the microphone that his PR people are not happy about, which is redlakehelps.org is the website for Sam that he passed on to me to mention here. But Simpson Housing Services is just grateful to be in partnership, be able to be a part of this solution. Thank you very much.